Eagles fans, Eagles fans, Eagles fans. Y'all know what it is. It's about that time. Week 1 is finally here. The NFL season is finally here. The Philadelphia Eagles face off against the Atlanta Falcons. It's finally here. The moment we've all been waiting for. I'm joined by my guy, my brother in arms, Philly Foothills. How you feeling, my limb? Are we putting ourselves in a position to be in another Carson Wentz situation when it comes to just paying a guy early and them not delivering what we expected them to deliver? Now, I agree with you. I don't believe Jordan MAILATA is that same kind of character. I believe Jordan MAILATA is tough as nails. Like you said, that's a grown ass man.
Yes.
I believe Jordan MAILATA is ready and willing to take on the challenge. My only thing is I don't want him to shrink because of the price tag that's on him now. You know, I don't want him to get to a point where he feels like he can't play free anymore. I believe sometimes when players get that security, sometimes they rest on their laurels, and sometimes it just motivates them more to go hard. Now, based off of Jordan MAILATA's upbringing, how he came into the NFL, being a seventh round pick, 233rd overall to be exact, being a former Australian rugby player, coming into football in 2018. Barely knowing how to put the helmet or the pads on, barely knowing how to drink the Gatorade through the damn face mask. You think about all those nuances, all those details. Him training at IMG Academy, to further sharpen his tools and for further development. You think about all those things. Him coming in on an international pathway program through the NFL.
Right.
It hasn't been smooth sailing for him. He didn't play his first 2 years at all. He was known as the project. He was going to be a project. It was so long ago, I forgot he was on the roster. I forgot we had this guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you think of all those things. You think about the fact that he beat out a first round pick in Andre Dillard, but then again, Andre Dillard didn't really set the bar too high.
True.
But all things considered, I believe Jordan MAILATA, just based off pure effort, based off pure grit and resilience, especially what he did last season. Now, granted, everything was in shambles last year. The offensive line was in shambles in particular. Everything, but most importantly, the offensive line. We had over 12, 13 offensive line combinations, and that was the most since the 70s. So you think about all those things. He came in during the most turbulent time this organization has experienced in the past decade. So I think it's important to judge a man's character not in moments of peace, but through times of chaos. It's easy to be a smooth customer. It's easy to be a smooth criminal when things are sweet, when things are handed to you, when you're winning and everything's going great and no injuries. It's easy to look good. It's easy to look good when the sky is blue. But what are you going to? But what are you going to do when the thunderstorm hits? What are you going to do when the hurricane hits? Are you going to survive? Are you going to stand the test of time? Are you going to have the heart to look? Are you going to have the heart to stand in the eye of the storm and accept any and everything that comes with it? He by him signing this contract, he has officially put himself under the microscope. Under the microscope, people are going to be paying so close attention to that left side. If he gives up a sack today, you're going
to hear the fans go nuts.
The fans are going to go nuts. But beyond that, it makes me question the money. Now, I'm happy for the guy. I recently posted a video last night about his contract, and I was happy for him. I'm happy he got the security. It's even more exciting because we know he worked for it. We know he's been working, grinding, for this opportunity.
Yeah.
And this is his first year legitimately being the de facto starter. And by him getting that contract, it automatically dismisses Andre Dillard from any conversation. Andre Dillard is not cross-trainable. He's a one-trick pony. He clearly hasn't shown any signs of growth. He's mentally fragile, as it appears. He's fragile physically, as it appears as well. And he just hasn't had the smoothest transition from college to the NFL. You know what I'm saying? But
Dillard's struggling. He definitely is. And it's amazing just to see how far MAILATA's come in a year's time. Because this time last year, he was struggling. He struggled through camp last year. He had some issues. He was still learning the nuances of the position, how to use his hands, how to use his feet correctly, how to keep his base underneath him. as a left tackle. So it's just really amazing to see how far he's come in a year. And I mean, I don't think anyone would ever have guessed that Jordan Mailata would be getting this big of a contract at this time this year. It was kind of surprising, I think, to a lot of people. And yeah, he's, like you said, you're definitely correct when you say he's going to have a fine microscope on him. And I just hope that doesn't get to him. I hope that doesn't get to him mentally, and I don't think he will, because I think he's pretty tough. I think he's a smart guy, and I don't think he's going to let the pressure get to him, because if he's been able to withstand the pressure of the NFL so far, I don't see the, I know he just got a bag, but yeah, I think he's able to kind of block that out and just play the game.
Agreed. I think so too. He, like, just his style, him coming from humble beginnings.
Right.
He clearly he's not a flashy guy, not a social media like type of guy. He's not a guy that cares about being in the limelight. He's clearly a worker. He's about showing improvement and putting in the work. You can just tell by the way he carries himself, by the way he communicates in his press conferences. He comes in every day like every snap could be his last. He comes in playing as if his job can be taken at any point. So I think that's so important. It's important to build on. It's important to build on.
That's a great mentality to have. I hope that starts rubbing off on other players. You want to play like every play is your last. Give every play 110%. Go all out. Play as hard as you can. Give this team your full effort, and it's going to benefit you in the long run. It's because it's just going to spill over to everybody else.
Big time. And what does that mean for the future of our offensive line? Now we've solidified the left side for the most part, especially in particular the left tackle spot. We've solidified that for the next 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And you think about the left guard spot now.
I'm excited to see. Obviously it's not going to happen today.
Right.
The future. At some point this year, you're going to see Landon Dickerson at the left guard spot, and that's going to be a freaking fun show to watch, because him and Jordan Mailata are going to be opening up some lanes, some canyons for these running backs to run through.
Right. Exactly. And the interesting thing about that left guard center position is the fact that we still have Isaac Samalu and we still have Jason Kelsey. We still have Nate Herbig as well, who's able to, who's a swing guard. But here's the thing: you think about the fact that Landon Dickerson most likely is going to either play that left guard spot or that center spot. But Jason Kelsey, he hasn't shown any signs, in my opinion, of slowing down. He's still a top 5 center in this NFL.
Agreed.
Now, let's hear me out on this. If the Eagles are looking good, if the Eagles are showing sign of being on the fast track to development, the fast track to the playoffs, if they're showing signs that they can be extremely competitive, what's stopping Jason Kelsey from saying, "Hey, I want to stay for another year"? And now you have offensive line with Jordan Mailata at left tackle, potentially Landon Dickerson starting at left guard the following season. Then you got Jason Kelsey at center. If Brandon Brooks can stay healthy, you got Brandon Brooks, and you got Lane Johnson right there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's very plausible. These veterans, most of the time they look to the exit when clearly the team's not going to be good for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And they say, well, it's time for me to get out while the getting's good. Let me preserve my body, my mind, and let me just get out. It's nothing for me left here to prove. But when you see the team trending in the right direction, you see that you have a quarterback that you can get behind. You see that the offensive line is as good as it's ever been. You see the Eagles winning. You see them starting to stack wins, starting to have established confidence, starting to establish an identity.
Yeah.
What's stopping a guy like Jason Kelsey from being for wanting to remain a part of that for as long as he possibly can?
That's a good point, man. That's a really, really good point. And I think there's probably a better chance than not that could happen, because I think he's still having a lot of fun. He's still enjoying playing football. I posted a video of when they had the last preseason game in New York against the Jets, and it was a rainstorm out there, and he was out there running around on the field like a little kid, man, sliding around in the water. He was hooting and hollering out there on the field. He is generally still enjoying this ride, and I think you have a very good point. And I would love that. I would absolutely love that because that means our team is on the upswing. That means he's going to want to hang around for more than just this year. And I think that would be absolutely stellar for this football team because then you can have Dickerson right beside him, right at the left guard spot, and he's not only is he playing left guard, but he's learning the center position behind one of the all-time greats for our Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to Jason Kelce. So, and I don't think there's a better way to learn, especially when it comes to offensive line, than being out there with your brother right there next to him. Being in the trenches, he's gonna learn so much more than just the game of football. He's gonna learn how to be a true sportsman out there. He's gonna learn how to be a captain of a football team out there. He's gonna learn how to be the anchor of a offensive line, and that's just really gonna benefit, I think, Landon Dickerson and this football team going forward in the long run. So yeah, I love that idea, man, and I hope that comes to fruition. I really do.
I feel that, man. We got 9 people in the live stream. Thank y'all so much for being here. And make sure you guys hit that like button. Me and Philly Foothills will be doing these live streams, these pregame live streams every Sunday. Every time there's a game, no matter what time it is, we are going to be giving you guys weekly pregame shows. So this is something that me and him talked about. This is something that me and him both agreed to, and we're super excited about it. I'm really in love with Philly Foothills' journey. I'm really excited to see where he goes. It's just been a really exciting journey for both of us, and he's somebody that I definitely don't mind coming up with. You know what I'm saying? So the sky's the limit for us. We appreciate you guys so much, and it's fucking Sunday, you guys. It's Sunday. It's Sunday. Come on.
Go.
Come on.
Go.
The passion is alive.
It really is, and we're live on not only Tone DeShields Chalk It Up channel, but we're live out here on the Nest out west, and I'm out here in California holding it down for Eagles Nation. So I'm up extra early, but because like I said, I couldn't sleep anyway. I don't really care, but I'm juiced. I got the energy. I'm ready to go. I'm excited for Eagles football. But yes, we're going to be live, like you said, every Sunday at this time. Depending on the game time, right, Tone? But yes, we're going to be on every Sunday for you guys on both channels, live, raring to go. Giving you a pregame preview of all of our matchups, and definitely, you guys make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep our dreams alive. Both channels, hit that thumbs up. Make sure you do so before you leave, please. Helps with the content.
For sure. It helps. So, as we already know, Eagles at Falcons, 1 p.m. Eastern time in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I have a question for you, Philly.
Benzito, what's good?
What does Jalen Hurts have to do to be successful today against the Atlanta Falcons?
He really just has to play with it within the game. He doesn't have to do anything too flashy. Don't have to be Superman out there. Just take care of the football. Don't have any stupid turnovers. Don't have any fumbles. Hopefully, no interceptions as well. And just kind of, I'm hoping that we're really going to be run first today. And I think we're going to be that's going to take some pressure off of him. Where our offensive line is going to establish the run game first and foremost, and then just let the play the play action, the passing game feed off of that. Maybe we'll run some RPOs, things like that. Because they're going to definitely take advantage of Jalen's mobility. That they're not going to shy away from that. They're not going to try to keep him in the pocket because the more that you let this kid just play his game, the better off you're going to be. So just really game manage today. He just needs to not turn the ball over, take us on some drives, make some good throws. I want to see them take some deep shots down the field because I like his deep ball accuracy. And yeah, man, he really, like I said, he doesn't have to do anything too flashy. He really doesn't.
Agreed. I think he just needs to remain poised. He needs to allow the game to come to him and not try to force the game, out of the situation. He's really just going to have to remain patient. He can't allow himself to ultimately let the situation get too big for him.
Right.
It's week one, early, week one jitters. Everyone's going to be feeling them. So just pace yourself. Like you said, it's important for us to get that running game involved early. We need to get Miles Sanders. we need to get Miles Sanders going early. We need to get those guys going early because when you think about it, and this is one of my keys to victory. The running game needs to get off to an early start. Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts must dominate.
100.
They have to take advantage of an aggressive Atlanta Falcons pass rush if they have one. And then Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell have to also take advantage of opportunities when they come. So here's the thing. By Jalen Hurts being so mobile and also having a guy like Miles Sanders, Kenny Gainwell, Boston Scott back there as well, what it does, if we start gashing those guys for 5 to 10 to 15-yard runs, then at that point, it's going to force the linebackers to stack the box. It's going to force a safety to maybe come down.
Yeah.
And then that's going to open things wide open over the top for Devontae Smith, for Jalen Reagor, for Quez Watkins. We have a lot of speed out there, a lot of speed. And speaking of those guys, what are your expectations for this young wide receiver core? Because I have a bold prediction that I'm going to get into a little later on. But just what are the expectations for this young wide receiver core? I think these guys are going to be successful. I think these guys are going to be amazing running their routes. I think we're going to see a lot of guys open early.
Yeah, the offense of coaching, or especially the head coach, he prides himself on the route running of these wide receivers. He was very, very critical on that, and he made sure that Coach Moorhead was as well. They're very critical on the route running because when you are very precise with your route running, that can make that much of a difference with separation and getting a completion from your quarterback. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think there's going to be some open receivers out there today, especially with like you said, the amount of speed that we have out there. I really don't think Atlanta has the defensive backs to keep up with the likes of Devontae Smith and Quez Watkins, especially when it comes to Quez's speed. And I like I said, I want to see, and it could be early, it could be, in the second drive. At some point, I definitely want to see this offense take a deep shot down the field, whether it's to Devontae, whether it's to Quez, even Reagor. Somebody get down the field. I want to see us take a deep shot down the field because I'm really confident in Jalen Hurts' deep ball accuracy. And, even if we didn't complete the pass, we could get a big field swing with a pass interference penalty. So, I think I'm really excited for this young offensive. I've been calling them the young gunners, the young gunners, the young guns with Jalen Hurts, with Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, and Jalen Reagor. Absolutely, dude. This wide receiver core is going to be able to exploit some things today. And I really do think so because they're I forget his name, but the Atlanta's nickel corner. I don't think he's going to be able to really keep up with Jalen Reagor. I think Jalen Reagor's going to have.
You mean? See, here's the thing. They have a 3-4 base defense.
Yeah.
So you're going to see 4 linebackers out there and 3 linemen, a nose tackle.
Yeah.
So their starting corners are AJ Terrell, who's young still hasn't really established himself in this league, and the other corner is Fabian Moreau. Their safeties are Deron Harmon and Eric Harris. So they've lost guys like Keanu Neal. They don't have the same pedigree back there in the DB room. They just don't. Right. And they have a bunch of guys who are pretty much trying to prove themselves. All of those guys, like Fabian Moreau, he's only been in the league since 2017. You think about a guy like AJ Terrell. I think he was drafted last season in the first round. So he's still coming to his own. Still not consistent. Still hasn't really built a name for himself. So I'm expecting most likely AJ Terrell will be on Devontae Smith because he's their best corner.
Got you.
And then you're going to see Fabian Moreau on either Quez Watkins or Jalen Reagor, depending on where they line up. So,
well, if we got Reagor in the slot, then if they're going to have a linebacker lined up on him, I say we need to exploit that matchup all day long.
Exactly,
all day long.
That's the key. By them being in a 3-4, most likely that extra linebacker is probably a pseudo safety, that rover guy.
Yeah.
So you don't be surprised if we see a lot of delayed blitzes. They're going to, like you said, they're going to send guys to Jalen Hurts to make him uncomfortable, to try to force him out of that pocket, to force him to make an executive decision so he can't read the defense.
Yeah.
It's going to be challenging. He's going to see some things he's never seen before, but I think come second half, he's going to be much more settled in. All they got to do is run that ball and just take it step by step. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Right.
That's the thing. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Keep everything in front of you and attack the ball.
Don't be too. And when I say this, I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. Don't be too anxious. Trust your offensive line. Yes, have that clock in your head. Don't hold the ball too long, but go through your progressions as long as you can. And try to find that open man. If you can't, get on the run and see if guys can get open. If not, tuck that ball and get out there. Get out, because I know he can go too. He's got the wheels. So I'm excited to see what this kid can do today. I really am, because he's chomping at the bit to be proving some people wrong. I hope he's not too gung ho. I just hope he plays within himself. He stays calm, stays poised, like you said, and like I said, just really trust his offensive line, trust the guys around you. If you can, stay in that pocket when you can, and find that open man down the field. Use your arm.
And that's what it's going to come down to, the trust in the offensive line.
Yes.
I believe Jalen Hurts, he's a smart guy, right? He's a smart guy. He doesn't believe or not believe in himself. He doesn't believe that the guys in front of him are going to fail him. I think last season we put too much stock into it in terms of him just ripping and running around. He was a guy that came in with no preseason, a guy that came in with almost no training camp, didn't get any reps with the first team. He came into a turbulent situation at which point we were probably on our maybe 12th or 13th offensive line rotation.
Right.
There was no consistency anywhere across the board. So all things considered, when you think about it from that perspective, he's in a position to stack those reps. He's in a position to build on what he did last year. He showed us flashes that he was capable of moving the chains. He was capable of making. He was capable of having playmaking ability. He's fearless. I remember that touchdown against the Cardinals where he took a hit in the red zone and he just was dragging the guy into the end zone. It was spectacular. So ultimately, it's going to be really cool to see Jalen Hurts and these wide receivers really get into a rhythm. I can't wait. Again, once we get that running game going early, it's going to open things up for play action and bubble screens, and that's when Coach Watkins comes in and starts cooking.
Absolutely, and Jalen's a freaking beast. This kid is absolutely strong, 100%. He's as strong physically, I think, as he is mentally. 600. What did he deadlift? 625 pounds this offseason. I mean, he is an absolute freak of nature when it comes to his, to the skill, to the quarterback position. I mean, I don't think there's any other quarterback in the NFL that can deadlift that amount of weight. Even Lamar Jackson. I don't know. I like to see them have a competition on that. But I mean, very excited about the duo that's going to be in the middle of the field too. We haven't even touched on that yet. We're going to have Dallas Goedert and Zach Ertz eating in the middle of the field. I mean,
exactly.
Once you get the run game going, the middle of the field is just going to open up even more. And I think today, I'm having a feeling Dallas Goedert is going to have a big day today.
I agree. I told someone, I forgot who I was talking to, but I told someone that Dallas Goedert and Devontae Smith will lead the team in targets today. I believe that. I believe they're going to try to get. I believe by Devontae Smith being the official number one wide receiver, I believe he's going to see double-digit targets. I believe Dallas Goedert is going to see damn near double-digit targets. I believe Zach Ertz is. I think Dallas Goedert is going to get the number one tight end reps. I believe that wholeheartedly. But we're going to see Zach Ertz, Dallas Goedert all over the field. We're going to see Devontae Smith in the slot. We're going to see Devontae Smith on the outside. We're going to see Devontae Smith all over the field. And I'm anticipating Nick Sirianni moving these guys around so much to confuse the defense, because once those guys get hot, you're going to have to key in on where they are. And by you moving them around so much, they're going to have to look for them. It's going to force the defense to have to think harder, make executive decisions.
Yeah.
And the more movement you see back there for the defense, the more confusion, the more you see them doing all that pointing. And hey, listen, that's where you gas them. That's where you get them.
Absolutely.
And Jalen Hurts, all he has to do is just put the ball on the money. He has to be intentional. His ball placement has to be spot on today. Now, does it make you nervous that he didn't really have that many reps in the preseason? Because if I'm being honest, it gives me cause to pause. But at the same time, I think they didn't play him because they didn't want to reveal too much of the offense, and they knew having him in there would force them to really dig deep into the crate of plays. But I'll admit, it does make me a little nervous, him not having those preseason reps to really get used to that game speed again.
It does, but it does to me. And I know what you're saying, but on the other hand, to me, with as close as these joint practices are, they're scrimmages. They're damn near like games. So they have referees out there. It's and he had a good amount of reps with the starting wide receivers in camp and in like I said, the joint practices. So, I think we're going to be okay. There obviously there's going to be a rust factor, but shout out to Murphy Brown, by the way, man, for watching us all the way from the Ukraine.
That's wild.
That is
That's
awesome.
wild. That is hard. That's dope too.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Shout out
You're right.
to you, Murphy Brown. We appreciate you hanging in with us. Hey, it's supper time in the Ukraine, so enjoy dinner time. But hey, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it. Definitely. But yeah, Jalen Hurts. He's like you said, he's a smart kid.
Right.
He knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win at a high level. He's got to just play within the offense. He's got to let things come to him. Just don't force things too much. Let this offensive line go out, like fire off the ball. Where that's one of my keys to victory. Establishing the run game early. We need to do that. That's very important because if we don't do that, then Atlanta's just going to be able to really pinpoint on the, just like a lot like Dallas. Like it was almost comical in the Cowboys game. They had no running game established, yet they kept doing play action to Zeke and to Pollard. I think it was mostly to Zeke, but it's like you're not fooling anybody when you don't have a running game going, when you don't have anything established. They're not worried about it. You can go ahead.
I feel you, but they were moving. I got to admit, the Dallas offense looks good.
They did. They did.
They were able to move that ball without having no running game.
True.
And granted, they threw that ball over 50 times. Zeke ran the ball only like 10, 11 times, maybe less than that. Who knows?
But Tampa did lose one of their starting DBs early in that game.
Yep.
That really hurt them too. That hurt them
bad.
Yes.
Hurt them bad. And Dak was just targeting them the entire time.
Oh yeah. That's why they had him throwing damn near 60. They threw it. He was 42 of 58.
Right.
42 of 58 when you got a guy coming supposedly in with a bum shoulder who's not 100%, and you have him throwing him 60 times. Like, wow, dude. Like
that's what I'm saying. I believe that the Dallas Cowboys came into that game already knowing they were going to throw the ball 40, 50 plus times. I think they tried to get Zeke the ball, and then they said, you know what? All right, yeah. I think they ultimately knew they weren't going to be able to run that ball.
Tampa's run defense is really good.
I think the game plan from the beginning was Dak is going to win this game. And on top of that, they wanted to also prove and reaffirm to the fans, reaffirm to the NFL that Dak's back and he's healthy.
Right.
Look at him. He's throwing the ball 58 times. What do you mean he's not worth that money? What do you mean? Right. So, because if I'll be honest, if they would have won that game, that would have been a huge statement. That would have been a huge statement for Dak Prescott, a huge statement for the Cowboys. But let's be honest.
On the flip side, though, too, if they win that game, it could be one of the worst things for the Cowboys because it could have made them overinflated their head, right? Just take out the defending champions week 1, think they're better than they really are, and then pay the price down the road.
They're good for that too. They're good for just getting their heads too far up their asses. They're good for that.
Right.
They're good for just being overconfident and ultimately not delivering when it matters. Now they forced 3 or 4 turnovers and they still lost that game. Now, granted, some of those turnovers were self-inflicted, like a fumble, that was a random fumble, a tip pass. Some of those were self-inflicted. So I can't give the Cowboys too much credit. But I will acknowledge that the offense looks good. The defense still looks trash, still looks shaky, still looks porous. but the offense looked good. Dak Prescott looked good. 42-58. That's not bad. Not bad. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception.
400 yards. Yeah, not bad at all. You know, I gave I did some content recently. I give good amount of kudos to Dak because I was impressed. Definitely, I did not think he was going to look that good. But, you know, like you said, Tampa Bay gave them every opportunity to win that game, and they couldn't get it done. They had the ball at the end. All they had to do was drive down the field, take as much time off the clock, if not all of it, kick a field goal, say adios. But nope, that's when the run game comes in the most important at the end of games when you're trying to kill the clock. And the Cowboys fans, you guys couldn't do it. You guys had Tampa Bay gave you guys every opportunity to win that game. It was on a silver platter.
Chris Godwin fumbling in the end zone, gave it to you.
And that's why I don't want to hear about the crying about the non-offensive pass interference call on Chris Godwin on that last drive, because in all reality, you guys should have never gave Tom Brady the ball back to begin with. You guys should have ran the clock out, wait till there was like 3 or 4 seconds left, line up a chip shot for your shitty ass kicker, and have him win the game for you.
It's sad. It's sad. It's typical. It's really classic Cowboys. If we're being completely honest, it's classic. It's classic. They get you so high, and then you just the faster they rise, the harder they fall. It's really a classic Cowboys narrative. And
it really is.
And I'll be honest with you.
And speaking of the Cowboys now, they're in a little bit of trouble now because they're out their right tackle because of a drug suspension. It's looking like he's
they lost Michael Gallup.
Yeah, they lost Michael Gallup to a severe calf strain, so he's going to be out multiple weeks. So, yeah, they're going to be in a little – that offense is going to be a lot better, a lot easier to stop without Michael Gallup, because Dak Prescott loves him some Michael Gallup. That's one of his – that's if not his top receiver, it's his number 2 guy for sure.
Yeah, I think Michael Gallup was like a security blanket.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then
Michael Gallup was carrying them. He was carrying them. He really was in that game.
Yeah, you think about CeeDee Lamb having 4 drops. That's not a good look.
No.
Not a good look at all. You know, drive killers at that.
Yeah.
Overall, it was a very entertaining game. And the Dallas Cowboys are last in the NFC East right now. So it's all good. It's all good. We have to get our W. We have to take care of business. So who do you anticipate breaking out on offense and defense today? I want you to pick one guy on offense that you anticipate was going to have a big day, the biggest day on offense, and one guy on defense is going to have the biggest day.
All right, I think that we're going to come out the gate running the ball. I think Boobie's going to have a big day. I think Miles Sanders is going to have over 100 yards rushing. He's going to have let's say he's going to have anywhere from 30 to 50 yards receiving and a couple touchdowns on the day. I think Miles Sanders is going to be our dominant force on the offense for us today. You know, he's going to open up the passing game, and we're going to have a balanced offensive attack. But I think the offensive line is really, really hungry, and they're wanting to really get out there and prove some people wrong, because a lot of people are saying that this offensive line is not going to be able to withstand this, you know, the season, especially with the 17th game now, and you know they're calling them a bunch of old men, this and that. So I think they have a lot to prove, and a lot of people to shut up, and they're going to be raring to go. So the offensive attack is going to be focused on the run game, because that's where our veteran coaching is. It's all with the offensive line coach, and you're going to lean on that as much as you can. So, yeah, look for us to be dominant with the run game in this game today. And I think, like I said, I think Miles Sanders is going to be my breakout guy on offense, and on defense, I think it's going to be somebody kind of surprising. I actually think Milton Williams is gonna have a good day today. I think he's gonna be in the mixture. I think he might even get the first sack for the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, I'm excited for this kid because he's had a good camp. He's had a good summer. He's looking good for a rookie, and I'm loving him as a rotational piece on the defensive line.
I feel you. I feel you on that. For
What
me,
about you? What do you think?
I feel you. So for me on offense, I'm expecting Dallas Goedert to have the biggest day. I think Dallas Goedert's gonna have the biggest day. Now I mentioned that Devontae Smith might lead the team in targets, but I think Dallas Goedert is going to have the biggest day because there's nothing better for a young quarterback than his tight ends. A young quarterback depends heavily on his tight ends, especially when things break down, especially for those check downs. So I'm expecting Dallas Goedert to have a touchdown, over 75 yards receiving, at minimum 5 to 6 catches. I'm just expecting big things from Dallas Goedert, especially if he wants that contract, because Jordan MAILATA got paid before him. Now,
Yeah.
the Eagles are always going to prioritize offensive line over anything else. But Dallas Goedert, I believe, if he has a big day today and can stack those days, he's poised to get that follow-up contract. Now, on the defense, I'm expecting the defensive line to eat. In particular, I'm expecting Fletcher Cox to come out swinging. He's going to violate that left guard, that rookie left guard that's coming in for the injured Josh Andrews. He's going to come in and ultimately abuse Jalen Mayfield. He's going to abuse him. The dude is a 3rd-round pick, doesn't really have too much to hang his hat on, and you got to go up against Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave.
Good luck.
And then they're going, and then knowing the Eagles, our defensive line rotation, you might see BG rotating on the inside. You might see Milton Williams coming there. Then you got Ryan Kerrigan, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett. Like, it's our defensive line. I will be disappointed if we have less than 4 sacks today. I'll be disappointed.
That's the number I had too.
I'm expecting 3 to 5 sacks.
Yeah.
3 to 5. So you average that out as 4 sacks.
Yeah.
And
Ryan's a statue. We should be able to get at him. We have to. We cannot let him. That's one of my keys to victory too, is we cannot let Matt Ryan sit back there and sip his tea. We have to get in his face, get him on the ground, get him dirty, get him off his spot. That's the way to beat Matt Ryan. We all know the recipe. It's not that hard. We just got to get it done.
Exactly. And you mentioned something important. You said keys to victory. What are your keys to victory in a nutshell? Just go down and list some things you've been thinking about. What are a few things that the Eagles need to do in order to win this game today?
Yeah, we touched on them, a couple of them already. The establishing a run game early. We gotta be dominant in the trenches, especially on the offensive side of the ball. We have to be attacking first and foremost, open lanes for the run game, and let the pass game just open up. Let that open up for the pass game. On the opposite side, with like I said, with the play actions and the RPOs and things like that. And another key on the other side of the ball is, like I said, getting consistent pressure on Matt Ryan, and that doesn't necessarily mean blitzing all the time. We can't be doing that, because that's just going to expose our secondary and our linebackers too much. So we have to be able to get pressure with the front 4 on a consistent basis. And when you do that, that alleviates the pressure on the back end. So that's going to take the pressure off of our DBs and any covering linebackers and things like that. So getting consistent, not letting Matt Ryan just sit back there and pick apart our secondary. That's a huge key to victory for me. And I think the number 3 on the list would be winning the turnover battle. We have to win the turnover battle. We can't be giving the Falcons any short fields or anything like that. We need to make them drive as long of the fields as possible, and we need to have ball security. We need to make sure we tuck that ball away when we're running. Don't let them poke the ball out, and make sure we secure those catches. Not let any easy interceptions be taken down. Any tip balls, things like that.
I like that.
What are your keys? What do you think?
For me, I got you, Radiant. Give me a moment. I got you, Radiant. For me, I have 4 keys to victory, and I'm gonna run down all 4 of them, and then I'm gonna double back and then just expand on each one.
Yeah.
So my first key to victory, like we mentioned before, the running game needs to get up to an early start. My second key to victory, as we mentioned before, the defensive line must set the tone on defense. We're expecting 3 to 5 sacks minimum.
Right.
My third key to victory, Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts can't get a lot. Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts cannot get hot with Matt Ryan. We can't allow that to happen. And then my fourth key to victory, Jalen Hurts and the wide receivers and tight ends must be on the same page if and when things break down. Now, as I mentioned with the running game, Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts must dominate. They have to take advantage of every lane that's given to them. Most importantly, Miles Sanders, because Jordan Howard wasn't elevated off the practice squad this week. So Miles Sanders, they're telling Miles Sanders, they're signifying to him, we expect you to be the 3-down back. We expect you to be the bell cow. We expect you to be able to run the ball, not just when things are not just early, but in garbage time when we need to close out the game. We're putting that on your shoulders. We're expecting you to go over 100 yards. But that's our expectation. Yeah. And then Boston Scott and Kenny Gainwell, whenever they get their reps, they need to be impactful. They need to pick up blocks if need be. They need to block and release in the passing game if things go their way. You know what I'm saying? They need to just be very intentional in the running game. We need to get those guys or get that going early, because that's going to set up the passing game as well. You get the running game started, that's going to force those guys to stack the box. And then at that point, it's going to open things up over the top. Now, moving on to my second key to victory. I mentioned defensive line. They got to set the tone on defense. The Falcons' interior O-line lacks experience and pedigree. Now, at the left tackle and right tackle spot, they have 2 first-rounders. I'll give them that. But those guys haven't really shown and proved to be a cohesive unit for the past handful of years. They just haven't really been that good, especially since that Super Bowl season. They've been going downhill dramatically ever since then.
Yeah.
The Falcons starting left guard, Josh Andrews, is on IR with a broken hand. So he's not going to be in for quite some time. So I'm expecting Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox to completely dominate, abuse, obliterate, take that man cookies, give him some of mama's homemade cooking. I'm expecting them to truly make these guys look like fools in the interior. The interior is ready.
And that should be on damn near every down. That should be on not only on running downs, but on passing down. We need to get that pressure on Matt Ryan up the gut, because we know we're not so worried about him getting out on the outside and escaping as a mobile quarterback, right? So the pressure on the outside is going to come when it comes. We need to get that immediate pressure up the middle, get in his face as quickly as possible. The more pressure we can get up the gut, the better off we're going to be today. You're right. Absolutely. 100%.
Right. Like I said, those guys have to collapse the middle of the pocket to turn Matt Ryan into a runner. Don't allow him to sit back there and be able to knit a sweater, bake a cake,
right?
Tuck the kids in the bed. Don't allow him to get comfortable back there. That's going to be a recipe for disaster when you got guys like Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts out there who are master route runners.
And we gave Hargrave the bag. We made him at the time we made him the highest paid defensive lineman in the game at the time. Or one of the highest paid when we signed him from the Steelers. So he needs to start performing at a high level. And we're always saying Fletcher Cox is getting double teamed. Well, if that's the case, then Hargrave really needs to start eating more. He really needs to start showing out and showing us what he's really worth, because he hasn't played up to the value of that contract as of now. He really hasn't in Philadelphia. He's a young kid, and I'm excited to see what we can get out of him. I just hope he can stay healthy and he can really contribute at a high level, because he's making a lot of money.
Yeah, and my thing is Javon Hargrave. You're standing next to guys like Fletcher Cox, BG, Derek Barnett, Josh Sweat, Ryan Kerrigan. If you can't get a sack today, I'm going to be disappointed.
Me too.
You know what I'm saying? Like that interior, the D tackle should eat today.
At least a half a sack. You should be getting in there.
That's what I'm saying. You should be getting quarterback hits. You should be making. Yes. You should constantly be putting hands and feet on Matt Ryan.
Yes.
On Matt Ryan.
And get those hands up, interior defensive linemen. Get those hands up. Knock down passes. Matt Ryan likes to do those dump down, those check down passes a lot. Let's knock those down. Let's bat those in the air. Let's get an interception off of something like that. Let's disruption. If you can't get to him, get your hands up in the air. Knock that ball down. Get a finger on it. Sometimes it only takes one finger to disrupt the rotation of the football, and it can change the trajectory of it. So
Exactly.
Put in that work.
Exactly. And I mentioned Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. Julio Jones is not there anymore.
Nope.
So all things considered, Calvin Ridley is their number one wide receiver.
Yes.
You think about that dynamic. He's been behind Julio Jones for the better part of his career. He's always had the benefit of being next to a wide receiver who commands double coverage every single snap.
Right.
So that automatically makes his job easier. Automatically. He has to beat the second, third best corner on the team, maybe the safety or a linebacker. And then you got Kyle Pitts, who still technically is an unproven product in the NFL, but we all know his pedigree in college, and he was drafted number 6 overall. And we know he's supposed to be just a monster, the highest drafted tight end of all time.
Yes.
But Julio Jones not being there, let's really see how Calvin Ridley fares. Let's see if he can really be the number one wide receiver. Let me give you an example. Remember when Antonio Brown left the Pittsburgh Steelers and Juju Smith-Schuster had to be the number one wide receiver the following year? He had a down year. He had a down year. He hasn't been the same since then.
Right.
I think Juju is a very good wide receiver, but I don't think he's the number one. I just don't.
He's a way better complimentary guy. He is.
Right.
Some guys just aren't built to be that number one, and we'll see. Like you said, we'll see if Calvin Ridley can do that, because it's all on him right now. Because they have Pitts too, and they also have who's their number 2 receiver? Russell Gage, right?
Russell Gage, yeah.
Yes, they got Gage. So yeah, look for Gage. He's going to get some targets today, because obviously we're going to be keying in on Ridley and Pitts. So Russell Gage will probably definitely get some targets. But yeah, we'll see if Calvin Ridley can do it, because not all guys are wired for that. They're not all wired to be the number one guy. And I don't know if he is. I think he may be more like that. Like, that was a great example too, Tone, that Juju Schuster. That's a great example of a guy who was balling out as a number 2, balling out, and then when you make him that number 1 guy, not the same. It's not the same when you have to go against the top corner on the other team. It definitely changes things when the defenses are keying in on you as the number 1 receiver. So
right.
We'll see if he can get it done. And
Calvin Ridley, last time we played those guys, he was eating off of Avonte Maddox and Matt LeBlanc. Like, really, those were the best bodies we were able to send at him. So
now, do you think they're going to line up? Do you think they're going to line up Calvin Ridley on Steven Nelson?
I think Darius Slay is going to pick up.
You think he's going to follow him? You think he's going to follow him?
I think Darius Slay is going to follow him.
Shadow him?
And I think, and then I think Steven Nelson is going to take on anybody else after that.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? There's no way I don't put Darius Slay on Calvin Ridley. Now, if I'm starting to see Calvin Ridley just torch him, which I don't expect, but if I'm seeing that, then at that point, actually, regardless, I think we're going to see a lot of zone today. I don't think we're going to see that much man-to-man for the Philadelphia Eagles, not anymore. Yeah. That was a Jim Schwartz thing. He had these guys playing man-to-man all the time, and those guys weren't lockdown corners. Those guys weren't talented enough to play man-to-man all the time. The most talented guy was Darius Slay, and he can do that, but he's an aging corner. You don't want your corner who's talented but on the downside of his career to constantly have to play man-to-man. That's how injuries happen. You want him being able to keep everything in front of him. You want him being able to keep his eyes on the ball so he can make a play on it, and so you can take advantage of his instincts and don't really overutilize his athleticism. Because Darius Slay, again, he's in his 30s, and who knows what the Eagles may do with him next season or the following season? Who knows? But we have to make it a point to put these guys in positions to attack the ball. And I think JG is going to do that. I think JG is going to make it very intentional to put these guys in positions to not only attack the ball but to force turnovers. I think we're going to have more turnovers, more forced turnovers this year than we did last year. I expect that to happen just based off of the coaching staff and what and the slight semblance of what they've displayed and revealed to us through press conferences and so on and so forth. And then my final key to victory, like I mentioned, Jalen Hurts and the wide receivers, tight ends got to be on the same page. Like we mentioned before, Jalen Hurts has to stay poised back there. He can't allow the Falcons to get in his head. They're not the most dynamic team from a pass rush perspective, from the linebacker, they're not talented on defense. They're not. So this offensive line should completely dominate the trenches, giving him enough time to make a decision. I don't want him to just prematurely make decisions and run out of the pocket when things get a little hairy. I want him to be able to stand back there stout and deliver the ball where it needs to be. Now, don't force it in bad situations. If things don't look clear to you, run, get that 5, 10, 15-yard gain, and I'll live and die by that. You know what I'm saying? I'll live and die by that.
And don't be afraid to throw the ball away when it's not there. You know, if you can't run and it's not there, don't force, like you just said, don't force it into tight coverage. Throw the ball away when you need to. Live to fight another day. Live to play another down. Play smart. You know, and I think, like you said, on the defensive side of the ball too, we're going to be really trying to win at the point of attack, and that's going to be that's a key to victory for me too, is winning at the point of attack, not letting the offensive line for the Falcons attack us. We need to be attacking them. We need to be getting into the backfield, being disruptive, and not just sitting back like we have been in years past. And I think we're going to see a big change on this defensive side of the ball because, it's no more prevent defense. It's no more sticks defense. You're going to see a way better balanced attack when it comes to bringing that blitz when you need to, you know, having that coverage when you need to. Like you said, we're going to see a lot of zone. So, and my last key to victory is stopping stopping Mike Davis. He is the new running back for the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think that's going to be hard to do at all, because I think that's at the bottom of my list when it comes to keys to victory. Is like you said, the offensive line for the Falcons is very susceptible, especially on the inside, and that's where he's more of a, he's more of a of a north and south type of a runner. So they're going to be wanting to try to get him going on the inside. I just don't see that happening, especially with, like you said, the injuries that they're having on the inside of the football of the offensive line, and our interior defensive line is going to be able to absolutely feast today. Absolutely feast. We got to slow that run game down though, so that way we can just pin our ears back and just go after Ryan.
Big time. Let's transition into the injury report. So when it comes to injuries for the Philadelphia Eagles, Rodney McLeod is not going to play today. I believe they're going to just rest him this week to try to make sure he's fully recovered. He has been back for drills. He has been looking very fluid in the hips, very fluid in the knees. He's been looking very instinctive. He's been flying to the ball in training camp and in practice. So Rodney McLeod is going to be out today, most likely just just for precautionary reasons, to make sure he's fully good to go. After that, Landon Dickerson, another guy that we're not going to force out there right away. We're going to rest him, keep him out for precautionary reasons. We don't want to just throw him out there in the trenches, especially when he's coming off of an injury-riddled college pass. And we just want that guy to be here for the long haul. We want him to be our future on the offensive line. So I don't think we should ever have to rush Landon Dickerson out there, not one bit.
Right.
Following him, Jack Driscoll, broken hand. He's on IR, but he'll be back later on in the season. Jack Driscoll was definitely one of those guys that came in and played quality snaps for us in the previous season. He played that right tackle spot. He played that right guard spot. Him and Nate Herbig were pretty much tied at the hip when it came to just coming in and filling in for guys like Brandon Brooks and Elaine Johnson. So Jack Driscoll, we're going to miss you, but we know you're going to get back healthy and you're going to be better than ever. Then Davion Taylor, strained calf. He's doubtful to play as well. Most likely he's out from the game. And Davion Taylor, he's been dealing with injury throughout the preseason and training camp, so we really haven't had the opportunity to see him. I'm starting to get a little nervous about Davion Taylor because I'm not sure how long his leash will be within his organization, especially if he isn't able to get quality snaps this year. Next year's draft, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles go linebacker again. So and then on top of that, we got Eric Wilson on a 1-year deal. So he's playing for a contract, and if he shows and proves, you know he's going to get that extension, going to get that money somehow. So, and then you got Jacoby Stevens waiting in the rafters as well for an opportunity. My man Sean Bradley from Temple. He's it's a crowded linebacker room. It's crowded, and Davion Taylor, he's going to have to get healthy. He's going to be playing catch up, but he needs to find a way to make himself known on defense. And then when it comes to the Falcons injuries, their main injury is Josh Andrews at left guard. I'm expecting Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox to take advantage of that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely going to exploit that. They're going to definitely and then look for the Eagles to keep the defensive tackles fresh too. There's some. I think Milton Williams is going to be in that mix today. You're going to see maybe even Big T get some reps at the defensive tackle spot today as well. They're going to want to keep those guys fresh. They're going to want to keep them, as hungry as possible. And you got to give older guys, guys like Fletcher Cox, they're getting a little bit old. You got to give them you got to give them their wind breaks when they need it. So, yeah, look for the defensive line to definitely exploit that injury to the Falcons left guard there for sure.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to see what this defensive line does. The defensive line has to be the story of the day because if we get a pass rush, it's going to make it that much easier for our DBs and our linebackers to really take advantage.
We're going to get pass rush. Josh Sweat's going to eat it. Josh Sweat's going to get some work in today.
For sure. He's
going to be doing this today.
And if the front four is given the pressure that we expect, we might not even have to blitz.
Right.
So, and if we do, that's just overload. It's gonna be overkill for those guys. So I think it's important to overwhelm that interior. We have to overwhelm that interior. If I'm the Eagles, my first play, if we're on defense, my first play, I'm loading the middle. I'm sending a linebacker behind Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox up that middle. I'm sending Alex Singleton up the middle with those guys. I'm sending them right away. I want to overwhelm Jalen Mayfield, the rookie left guard that's coming in. I want to overwhelm him. I want to embarrass him. I want to take his soul.
Absolutely. Yeah, because you break his confidence early, you're going to have nothing. He's going to have nothing left.
Exactly.
You're just going to take everything he's got. Punch him in the gut. All his wins going to be gone.
Oh man. So yeah, Foothills, we probably got like another 10 to 15 minutes doing this. So I want to get into some bold predictions. Do you have any bold predictions for this game?
Ooh. Let's see. Bold prediction.
Yeah. And we're going to reserve the score prediction last. So
yeah.
Any bold predictions for anybody on offense, defense, for the Eagles, Falcons, anything bold, even for the coaching staff?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to say that our secondary is going to have 2 interceptions, and one of them is going to be by Kavon Wallace.
Whoa. Okay.
My bold prediction right there.
No, that is bold. that is bold. I'll admit. It's the 2 interceptions is one thing, but Kavon Wallace catching it, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And the thing is, I like Kavon Wallace.
He's got the prime opportunity. Like you said, McLeod's out, so he's got the prime opportunity to prove that he could play at this level.
Facts. Now, for me, one of my bold predictions is Devontae Smith scores his first NFL touchdown in his debut. He scores today.
Okay.
Now we're never going to be spreading that ball around.
Yeah.
I know we like to throw to the tight ends in the red zone, but expect Devontae Smith to have his first touchdown today. Expect it.
I like it.
Another bold prediction I have: Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave will each end the game with at least 1 sack.
Okay.
I'm expecting that. High expectations. I'm expecting those guys to completely overwhelm the middle.
It's very possible with the susceptibleness of the inside of the line now for Atlanta and the statue-esque of Matt Ryan. Yeah, it's very possible. Very, very possible.
My third bold prediction and my final bold prediction, Jalen Hurts will have at least 1 passing and 1 rushing touchdown today.
Okay. All right.
All things he's done before. So I'm expecting big things out of him. I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting him to completely just be a game breaker. Like he's 2 different people he's 2 different people. He's Jalen Hurts when he's in his press conferences, when he's buttoned up, wearing his team polos, shirt tucked in. Then when he's on the field, oh yeah, that Q comes out of him. He's a whole another guy, a whole another monster.
Oh yeah,
a whole another man. That voice changes. That cadence changes.
All right, I'm gonna give you another one. I'm gonna give you another one on the offensive side of the ball. I'm gonna say Kenny Gainwell is gonna have 3 to 5 catches for at least 50 yards.
Okay, 3 to 5 catches for at least 50. That's not bad. It's not bad for a backup running back who's just really going to be using the passing game. Really,
Right?
that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
I'll do you one better. Kenny Gainwell catches a touchdown today.
Okay.
Bold. You know why not? Right.
Yeah. Go big, or go home. Absolutely. I love it.
Right. Right. And then just to top it off before we get out of here, what's your score prediction for today?
All right. So we've definitely been talking about this quite a bit, and I'm gonna stick with right around that range I've been at. I think we're gonna hold Atlanta under 20 points. So I think it's gonna be right around 24-17, right around there. I think
That's close to what I had. That's close to what I had. For me, I have the Eagles winning 24-20. I think they will. I think they will crack 20 points. I think what's going to happen is they're going to get in that red zone a few times. We're going to push them out of field goal range a couple times, but I think they're going to get at least 2 field goals. They're going to be close enough where we're going to be nervous. We're going to scratch our heads, but the defensive line is going to come in, maybe get a sack, and force them to kick a field goal. So I believe the Eagles win 24-20. The reason I have the Eagles only putting out 24 points is because this offense is still developing. Nick Sirianni is still developing as well as a head coach. He's going to be calling the plays, so we're going to really see where his head is, creative wise, and we're going to see how good he is thinking on his feet. So I'm expecting the Eagles to win 24-20.
I like it. Yeah, it's and I think the over under is like 40. I think it's like 48.5 or something like that. So yeah, if any of you guys are betting out there, I would definitely take the under today. I definitely would. I don't think it's going to go over that. I don't think it's
the over under. The over under I see right here is 48.5.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, 24-20. That's for 44 points. So yeah, I think you're good with the under. Definitely.
I would definitely take the under if I was betting. I would definitely take the under.
And to answer Jinx Wolf's question in the comments, she asked, "What time is it out here in the West?" It's 3 hours earlier, so it's now 9:09 on the West Coast.
That's what I'm saying. My man is literally holding, bro.
Baby, let's go.
My man is waking up the family right now. Are you serious? Like my man has been. It's so crazy. I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh shoot, it's probably like 5 a.m. where Foothills is. Like, yo, you got to give this guy.
Awake too. I was probably awake.
Bro, got to give this man credit. Got to give this man his flowers. Foothills holds it down on the West Coast. I'm super happy for this guy. Super happy for the content he's been building. Super happy for the community that he's been establishing. Foothills has just been a maverick, just grinding. Been grinding at the live streams. He's been someone I can call a friend in this Eagles content gang. Just been a real humble guy, a real dude in general, man. His fandom is real, as you guys can see behind him. He's holding it down on the West Coast. My man hasn't even been to Philadelphia yet, and he bleeds green. He'll fit right in at Chickens and Pete's. You know what I'm saying? So he'll fit right in with the guys, man. So my guy, I'm grateful for you, man, and I'm looking forward to next week. But let's get through this week. We got to win this game. You say Eagles win 24-17. I say 24-20. So me and you are both in that same ballpark.
Yep.
So we're going to see what happens, man. Any final thoughts before we get out of here?
Just that I am overwhelmingly I'm bursting with excitement right now. We are now less than an hour away from kickoff, so just very happy to be doing this with you, my guy. So glad that we've met along this journey, and I feel the absolute same about you. I can call you a friend on this YouTube thing. Really, we don't just talk on social media. We have each other's cell phones, so I really consider you a good dude. You're good people. Love working with you, Tone, and all you guys in the live stream. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining the chiming in on the chats and all that. And yes, you guys, thank you so much for all of the continued support for both of our channels. We're always putting out that good content for you guys, and like I always say you guys are the food and the water to the channel. Without you, it does not continue to survive. So if you're feeling the vibe, please make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe to keep my dreams alive. Let's go,
Yes,
baby.
Yes,
Fly, Eagles,
sir.
fly. We fly until we die. Stay mean,
Uh-huh.
stay green. Thanks for viewing me on your screen. But most importantly, keep it fuego.
Yes,
And go
sir.
Birds, baby. Let's go.
Yes, sir. And I'm your boy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up. Where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charges to the game, you guys. The Philadelphia Eagles face off with the Atlanta Falcons in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in the A today. And it's time for us to show and prove. It's time for Jalen Hurts to prove the doubters wrong. It's time for Miles Sanders to come in and finally get that 1,000-yard season. It's time for Devontae Smith to come in and show why he's the Heisman winner. It's time for Jalen Reagor to come in and prove doubters wrong and show that he wasn't a bust. It's time for Quez Watkins to be that de facto burner for us. It's time for Dallas Goedert to earn that paycheck. It's time for Jordan MAILATA to prove why he deserved that paycheck. It's time for this defensive line to wreak havoc. It's time for guys like Darius Slay, Steven Nelson, and the rest of the DBs to just catch picks. And you know what? These guys are going to be smooth criminals in the backfield. These guys are going to be constantly eating. And guess what? They ain't never full. So just keep feeding us and feeding us and feeding us because we accepting our customers. We taking everything that come with it. These guys got to show me this season, Foothills. People are talking all this trash about us, Foothills, and they're expecting this team to have no more than 5-6 wins. I'm expecting damn near double-digit wins. I'm expecting 9 wins. I'm expecting 8 wins at minimum, 10 wins at the most for this Philadelphia Eagles team. I don't think that's bad, especially coming up what we came off last year. The Philadelphia Eagles are here. It's week 1, you guys. We vibing. This is it. We love you guys so much. Thanks for locking in. I was joined by my man, my brother, my guy holding it down on the West Coast, and that's out West, Philly Foothills, a.k.a. Philly Fuego. And we out here, y'all. One love and fly Eagles fly.